Alright guys, today we're going to be looking into this Ready America 3-day 2-person emergency backpack. Now, I've gone over some smaller little survival kits. This is a little bit larger one. Had it in my car for years. It actually expires, if you can read this, it's upside down in 2017. So I'm going to use the stuff out of it, but I want to go ahead and unpack it. I've never actually fully unpacked it. It's really, you should know what's in your, equipment here. So we're going to go ahead and unpack this and see everything that's in there. Of course, when I bought it years ago, I took a quick look. But there's going to be some first aid, some food and stuff. Now, these things aren't too expensive. I believe I paid around 40 bucks or something for it. But you can make one yourself as well. So, you don't have to necessarily go out and buy one of these. But it's good to have certain things in your car, which we'll talk about. And one of these is pre-made, but you can make something like this, and you'll probably get some ideas from this video, and we'll talk about what else I think should be in here. Now, I did throw a couple things in here myself. I think I threw in some fire starting equipment. This is like little fire starters. You ignite them, and they help you build a campfire. There's some Pepto-Bismol up there, I guess. And I did throw those in myself, the fire starters. I remember throwing in Pepto-Bismol. I must have thrown in there at some point. But everything else in here came in here. The only thing I might have added is some butterfly bandages to the first aid kit as well, because usually kits don't have a lot of those. And it looks like I added a lighter and matches for my fire starter kit. So this stuff did not come in it. But everything else, I never put anything, I don't think, in the main pocket. So we'll go from there. And first off, a whistle. Not bad to have. You can signal someone. It's louder than yelling, and most people, if they hear a whistle over and over, will know that something's up. So it's a good thing to have. Looks like we have a couple survival blankets, and these things are good if there's sun out. You can wrap yourself up, and they'll help. They're like windproof, waterproof, and they'll get heated up a little bit by the sun. So they're not the best blankets in the world, but they are very useful. And it looks like there's more than two. Looks like there's a few in each one, maybe, just by how many folds there seems to be here. But it might just be two. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't opened it. But at least a couple of those. Little first aid kit. And as you can see, I've opened it. There's been a time or two a friend needed a Band-Aid or a Tylenol. But in here, you're going to get things like antiseptic towels. You're going to get some aspirin. This is antibiotic ointment. Alcohol prep pad. Another one of those. Here's non-aspirin. I guess that's more like a Tylenol. Let me see. Yeah, this one's like a Tylenol. Butterfly Band-Aid. I usually throw a couple extra of these into kits because they usually only come with one or two. And butterfly bandages can be pretty important if you using a knife to cut kindling or something and slice yourself. Butterfly bandage can hold that together and really make it safer for healing. A little first aid guide. We're not going to read through the whole thing, but must be some little info in there. Little band-aids. You can tell this kit's getting old because this kind of looks like discolored. These are just bigger band-aids. And then one really big band-aid. It's weird how this one stayed more white than these other ones did. And that's it, just a little first aid kit, really not much of use in there. There's no tweezers for splinters, there's no, there's not much, there's no scissors, there's no gauze, it's not a ton in there. But for little quick fixes, it could come in handy, especially the, the alcohol prep pads and the antiseptic ointment and stuff. Alright, let's try to get in here. Oh, I did add some more stuff in here because I recall these. So I guess this is my modified bag. I got this 4 years ago, and I guess I threw some things in as time went on. But I'll tell you everything that I threw in. So these soldier fuels, I threw in. They're just basically like energy bars. So I wanted a little bit of extra food in there. I guess I threw in a Nature Valley protein bar, granola bar. There's some water packs which I threw in, but it has its own water packs. And it looks like, other than this soldier bar now, this stuff over here I put in that stuff, as well as these 2 extra drinking waters. I actually got like a 50 or 100 pack of these. They're frozen because I just took this out of my car and put a new one in because this one was getting old. Alright, so in here what you actually get is a mask. I want to talk about water a little bit more later, but let's just keep going through the bag first. A mask, you know, not sure if these are gloves. I think that's probably gloves and a mask. So, you know, might have a use for that at some point. I do not know if these came in the kit or not. I don't really feel like looking through this whole thing and seeing if they did. But light sticks. If they come in your kit, great. If they don't, you should probably add some in. They're great if you're stopped on the highway. It's kind of like flares. You can put one behind your car, or a couple behind your car, in front of your car, next to your car, and they're kind of like a flare that can signal people. So if your kit comes with one, great. If not, add some in. Now this is a 2-person kit, that's why we got 2 survival blankets, and it looks like we got 2 ponchos. And these are actually, you know, they're just thin ponchos, but these I'm going to throw back in my car because ponchos can always be useful, and these are kind of like one that I can give to a friend if it's raining out, or someone that's in my car, use it once and just you know, toss it afterwards. It's not one that you got to keep forever because it's just kind of, you know, cheap little poncho, but it'll work. And staying dry can keep you alive if it's cold out. Even if it's not cold out, rain can make you just feel a lot colder, and it can, you know, you don't want hypothermia. In here we have Mayday emergency food rations. Again, 2 for 2 people. I've had things similar to this. I actually had to do a video testing Daytrex survival bars, and they weren't too bad. Let me see if the ingredients look pretty darn similar to the other bars I had. They kind of taste like what are those called? Shortbread cookies, but not quite as sweet. But it's just bars to eat, and they'll keep you alive for a couple days. You know, you could probably survive actually a week because you just, you know, lower your caloric intake, eat a little bit each day, and you could probably make these last even longer. Of course, you won't be getting your full 2,000 plus calories a day, but a good amount of food there. And these were made in 2012, and it says they're expire in 17, so I guess they last 5 years. I think this thing comes with a 5-year you know, date. Some tissues, you know, use them for multiple things. Let's see here. Okay, now in the bottom I have a whole big box of these things, but mine are this brand over here, Daytrex the water. This is going to be our water supply, and it's just a different brand, Mayday. Now this was frozen in my car. I just took it out of my car recently. There, we got one out. But they're basically the same thing. I just, like I said, they're extra in there. I think they're about 8 ounces, maybe they're 6 ounces. Let me see if I... Oh, it looks like this one says 4.225 ounces and 4.227. So a little over 4 ounces, 4¼ ounces. And, you know, drink those a few times a day and you have clean water. And you're good to go. Now, I would suggest, like I was going to talk about water. These are sealed away. This is going to give you some water, and they're sealed away in your bag. You're not going to use them, you know, and they're kind of weird to just drink normally. But I would suggest having, you know, a 12 case of bottled water in your car at all times. They're really cheap. You know, you can get them for a couple bucks at most gas stations, stores, whatever. Leave that in your car at all times. The only problem I've had with that is I'll often end up drinking them when I'm out fishing or camping. And I'll be like, oh, I got a water in my car. So just make sure to keep those replenished. And, you know, water is the most important thing for survival, so it's going to keep you alive the longest as long as you don't get any health problems or hurt or anything. Water is going to keep you alive the longest. So make sure to have a lot of water. Throw a 12-pack of cold water in your car. I mean, bottled water in your car. So this kit, it's okay. If you were driving around and you got stuck on the side of the road, you know, you'd be able to do some stuff, but really not all that much other than have some food and water. These light sticks might not even come in this kit. So really you could put on a poncho and walk somewhere if it's raining, or use your blankets. But I definitely suggest adding in some fire starting material. You probably also want to have a knife or some type of cutting tool. I always have a knife on me or in my car, not like a huge knife, but anything you can make kindling out of. And then, you know, you could whittle wood, make some kindling, and then you could snap twigs off trees and make a little fire. I would also put some fishing line, a small hook, and some bait, something that would last a long time. Even bubble gum, if it's a thicker type that you could put on a hook, works great for catching bluegill. And bluegill are actually really tasty and really easy to catch, and you could survive by eating those for a while as well. So I definitely put the fire starting stuff and maybe some way to catch fish in case you were really stranded out somewhere. But this kit would give you some water, a little bit of snacks, although not probably that tasty. They'd keep you alive. Let's say it was a big blizzard and you were stuck out there, crashed into the ditch on the side of the road, but your car stayed straight up or even turned sideways. Maybe you're out on a remote highway and no one sees you for, maybe this happened in the middle of the night and no one sees you till the next day, like 12 hours later. You might be stuck there for a pretty good time. You might want to be able to make a fire next to your car to try to stay warm, or you might want some food and water. So it could come in handy in a few ways, and maybe you got a little banged up, but I'd say put a bigger first aid kit in there. This first aid kit's pretty minimal. Say go for a better first aid kit that has a little bit more items. This one's got very minimal stuff in there in terms of any type of bad injury. Also have a small knife, have some gauze and scissors, and there's tons of other things you can put. I've gone over some other survival things. I have big survival bags myself with tons of stuff in them. You could search my channel for bug out bag or shtf fan videos, and you'll find more videos on my bug out bags and stuff like that I built myself and put stuff into. But for like 30 bucks that I paid for this just to have it in your car, it's a nice little thing. Although I admit I've barely used it in the years it's been in there, but that's a good thing. Haven't had to even look into it yet. So, have any questions, let me know. This was the Ready America version. There's many companies that do things like this though. And let me know your thoughts in the comments or anything else, and go check out my other videos. And if you have any suggestions for me, let me know, or maybe you'll get some more suggestions from those other bug out videos I got. I'll put them in my video description so you can find them. Anyways, be safe out there. We'll see y'all later.